Welcome to the final episode of Naparima Bowl Connect. Today we're going to go a lot more in depth into sound, and we're going to bring all the elements of technical theatre into this final episode. Let me check it out.
Hi, Dwight Forbes, Senior Audio Tech for Naparima Bowl, and as promised, we're going to delve into the digital mixer. Of course, this is a Soundcraft VI3000, and we're going to talk about the difference between the digital mixer and the analog mixer. Now, let's look at the comparisons between the both of them. Number one, these mixers kind of do the same thing. They receive multiple inputs like bass, guitar, vocals, everything. They can EQ, you can route to different sources like the auxiliary monitors, like a different room or whatever have you. But there are differences. Number one, first of all, this is very expensive. The analog board isn't that expensive, and it could probably fit your pocket depending on your application. But the digital board has a little bit more, and let's look at it a little bit more. All right, with the analog board, you have the channel strip. The channel strip, when you look at it, is very, very easy to look at. You will see the channel, the fader. You will see the pan. You will see the auxiliary sends, probably 1 or 2 cents. You will also see the equalizer, bass, mids, highs. And on top of that, you would see the treble or gain. With the digital mixer, it's different. You have to go in through a menu to get the very same thing that you would get on the analog board. You have the fader, and of course your select. So you select the board, and then you go into your menu to choose which one you want. EQ, effects, routing, whatever. So these are the difference. Now the analog board, of course, you have to have more equipment added to the analog board to make it work for you. Like additional effects racks, additional equalizers for monitors, and all different things that will make the sound system work, especially in a large format area. The digital mixer, however, is different. Everything is compact and ready right inside of this board. All right, so you don't have any additional equipment to carry. The only difference is that it takes a lot longer to set up pertaining to getting everything organized, because it's not just there at your fingertips. You have to choose your effects. You have to choose your gates, your processors, and whatever. But mind you, once you get these things organized, everything is righteous rain. Your mix will be perfect. You have everything preset and ready to go. Now we're going to organize a band on stage. It's a band that we just received, and we're going to start putting this into the board. I received the rider. The guys are already on stage setting up. So a little later we'll show you how we patch from the drums and go straight down.
So in a previous episode, we spoke about multi-core cables, which is a snake. Now this is a multi-core cable, but it has 24 channels, be it 24 inputs and 24 by 4, which is 4 outputs. So basically in patching now, we see if a rider for the show we are prepping for, and realize they're utilizing 20 channels with 8 outputs. And this is the patching process. Basically, we patch 1 to 1. So, due to our layout, we normally start with the drum kit first, so the first 8 lines. Now after the first 8 lines, which is our drum kit, we move on to instruments such as our bass guitar, electric guitar, keyboards and whatnot. So we continue in patching as I said, 1 to 1. Now after this here, we are finished with the input section of the patch bay. Now we go to the output section of the patch bay where we use the female XLR cables. My new females, and we said we need 8 outputs. It's the same 1 to 1 patching as before, and then on the input side. And there you have it, patch bay and patching.
So here we are on stage. You've seen the setup where the guys were moving everything. So we have our first mix, which is our monitor mix. This is the lead vocals. And we're going straight across here where we have our side fills. This is our second mix. Of course, this is duplicated on the left side of the stage. Here we have our drum mix, all right, for the drummer. Over here, of course, is our bass mix, our guitar mix, and our 2 keyboard mix, keyboard 1, keyboard 2, and our final mix we have for the vocals located right over here. So our EQ now is from Clark & Technique. It's a 32 band equalizer, and this EQ is used to cut and boost frequencies between the range of 20 Hz and 20 kHz. And this is a normal hearing range of any human being. So back to our amplifiers. All right, of course, this has its own DSPs, it has its own processors and equalizers. So of course, this is where we don't have all these other stuff that will usually process our speaker system.
Alright fellas, so today we will be rigging for a band that will be coming in. So we need to set up some down spots and we need to set up some front lighting for them. I already placed the down spots in the positions and we just have these couple of lights to hang. Also we have a downstage center spot and a center spot to focus. So there we go. Calvin, fly out.
Normally when wiring a drum kit, we start with the kick drum. So this will be your channel 1. And now we move on to lines 2 and 3, or snare. To get the song that is needed, it is recommended when attaching the microphone to a snare drum, you point the mic directly to the center of the drum to get a better song, to get the song of the drum itself. Now, there are instances where the engineer, whoever is the band engineer, will require the snare to be closer to the rim to capture rim shots and all these different type of styles of playing the drum. So one of our snare drum will be to the center, point directly at the center, and one will be capturing the rim shots. As you can see, if you see the closely, the placement is now not pointing at the center. So because of the pickup pattern of the mic, which is a hypercardioid, it will pick up at the direction you point and it will pick up a little spill to the sides. So you wouldn't get much bleeding of the mic, of the other instruments into this mic. So as you can see, it is pointed away from the center. So because of the pickup pattern of the mic, which is a hypercardioid, it will pick up song directly where it is pointing and at the side, so it will capture bleeding from the other racks. But that could be tuned out or filtered out by gating at the engineer's board. Now we move to the hi-hat, which will now be line 4. As I mentioned before, this is a 9-piece drum kit. So this will normally be your third line, is now 4. Now the mic we are using now is a Audix ADX51. This is a condenser microphone. When miking the hi-hat, there are different styles of miking, but in this instance we'll be miking it at this degree where we have the mic pointing directly at the axis of the hi-hat. So sound captured now will not be, you'll not be able to hear like a wavy sound of the hi-hat flexing. So you can mic it like this, or you can mic at this angle, where it captures the opening and the closing of the hi-hat. And now we move on to our racks. We have thumb 1 and thumb 2. The normal procedure for these again, we're using the Audix D2. These are mics specifically for thumbs. You'd be at your first or your second thumb. These mics are also focused to the center of the drum to capture the best song, but due to the engineer request, he requests the mics be closer to the rim because you want to hear the rim shots and you just get a brightness of sound when it mic'd at this angle. And now we move on to our floor thumb. This will now be our 7th line in our 9-piece hookup. Now this drum in particular, this microphone here, which is the D4, is specifically designed for floor thumbs. It's not advised to use on any other drum but a floor thumb because of the pickup pattern and the functionality of this microphone. Now this microphone needs to be pointed at the center and focus, not the rim of the mic because when you have it focused to the rims, you'll get an uncontrollable reverberation from the drum, because this is a drum that plays low or mid bass. So when it is closer to the rim, you'll get a lot of what we'll call reverberation. So as I point it directly at the center, and now we move on to the overheads. Overheads are used to not only capture the cymbals, but it's also used to capture the entire sound of the band. Meaning that yes, we have instruments that all the other drum pieces are mic'd up, but this just gives you the overall sound, overall imaging of the drum kit. So now, be focusing on this now, we need to focus this directly on axis. Because when it is focused off axis and the drummer hits the ride or the crash, you'll capture the song like this. It's not like if it is waving, like a wavy song you'll get from it. Now when you have focus on axis, every time the cymbal either turns or tilts, the song will be captured equally and openly. Now we are at the final line, which is line 9, which will be our second overhead. Same procedure follows as previously, where we focus on the axis of the cymbal. And there you have it, your 9-piece drum kit setup. Okay, now we move on to a keyboard. This keyboard now uses a 1/4-inch cable, 1/4-inch jack. These jacks are normally mono, meaning they are not balanced cable. So in order to get the song out from the keyboard to the mixing board, we use a DI. A DI, also known as a direct injection box, it is used to convert signals from high impedance to low impedance, meaning this being an unbalanced cable to an XLR, which is a balanced cable. Now DIs come in forms of passive and active. And active DI means it has a battery bank, where you could insert a battery, and now this DI has phantom power, which is needed to help with the conversion from high impedance, from low impedance to high impedance, or vice versa. With the passive DIs, it comes directly from the board. The engineer has to turn on phantom power on the desired channel, and that will allow the signal to flow out from the keyboard to the mixing board. National instrument. Now we are miking this pan with an EV mic. It is called the ND468. This mic is a wind instrument and for brass use, but due testing we decided to use it with a steel pan because the sound is phenomenal. Mind you, when miking a steel pan, this could be a little controversial, but we mic the pan from above to capture the sound of the pan. So it is again, it is pointed directly at the center to capture the overall sound of the instrument.
have it. This is the last module of our Naparima Bowl Connect series. Thank you for looking in. Thank you for giving us the time to come into your classrooms so that you can learn with us. We'd like to thank Atto and Order the Band for assisting us with this final video, which was a culmination of everything we learned in this capsule: stage, lights, and sound fundamentals. We'd like to thank Naparima Bowl administration and CEO and staff for working with us to give us all everything that we need to have this video done. We'd like to dedicate this Naparima Bowl Connect capsule to our departed stage manager, Mr. Winston Saunders, who would have enjoyed this series. He would have enjoyed being part of imparting knowledge to you, our audience. So let's enjoy Order the Band. There we go.
Monday to Monday, Sunday to Sunday, every day of the week. Oh, she makes me weak. Oh Lord, will somebody please tell me her name? 'Cause I don't know her. Where she's from and from where she came. 'Cause I don't know her. I can't get this girl out of my mind. I don't know her. And I keep thinking about her all the time. Hey! I met her at the club, to the rubber dub. Woman, she was sweet as hell. I asked her for a dance, she gave me a chance, putting me under a spell.